Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to solve for a variable. So here are our notes. First of all, let's take a little note to self up here in the top right hand corner. I want us to remember what it is we need to do if we're solving including numbers. So let's say we've got, I left some on my paper. We've got 2x minus 3 equals 9. 2x minus 3 equals 9. Now, what would we do in order to solve for that variable? Well, I would take care of addition or subtraction first, so cover up the multiplication. I've got minus 3. The inverse of minus 3 is plus 3 on the opposite side. There's my 0. And then I've got 2x equals 9. Nope, sorry, 6. And then I would divide by the 2 on the opposite side and get my answer. So that's our process. And our process is always the same. We are going to move add or subtract first, and then we're going to move our multiply or divide. Now we are solving, so our goal is the same as it always is. So let's write that up here at the top. Our goal is to get the variable alone. Now in this case, they're all variables, so we have to make sure that we are isolating the variable it's asking for. So this is where it is. When we look at number 1, it says 4t. So what that means is t is the one that we are solving for. Okay? So I need t to be alone. So when I solve for t here, if I want the t alone, and it's already on the right hand side, what's with it that needs to go away? Well, we've got a 2 and it's got to go away. What operation is going on? Multiplication. What's the inverse? Division. I'm going to divide here. I'm also going to divide on the other side. Keep in mind what's on the other side is a subtraction problem, so the division covers it all. So in this case, 2 goes into 2 one time. T, leave it on the side it's already on. And there's nothing to simplify, so we just bring that straight down. 5 minus b over 2. And that is our final answer. Okay? Let's look at number 2. Number 2, what am I solving for? M. So I'm going to find M. There it is. And I need to move everything away from it so it can be isolated or alone on its own side. So separate our sides. So here's my M. I'm going to cover it up. What has to go away? Well, the minus 4m. Keep in mind we're removing this entire term. I'm not trying to move the 4 from the n, so I'm not using division. I'm trying to move the whole thing, so I've got minus 4n, and to get rid of that, I'm going to add 4n to the opposite side. That is now a 0 here. M equals, always write your term with a variable first, and then I have a positive 8. Why can't we add these two together? That's right, they're not like terms. So when we talk about add and subtract, they must be like terms in order to combine them. All right, let's just go straight down for right now, and let's look at number 4. Which variable are we solving for? X is correct. There's my X. Now, separate my sides. Here's my X. I've got multiplication going on here. I am going to have to get rid of that Y through division because I have to remove it from the X. But I have subtraction here, so remember, always get rid of addition or subtraction first. So I'm going to cover this up. And what have I got? Minus 5. What's the inverse? To add 5 to the opposite side. There's your 0. I've got x, y equals, and then I've got k, and then I've added 5. Now, still trying to get that x alone, so what has to go away? The y. Through division, keep in mind this is already an operation going on over here with addition, so I'm going to divide the entire problem by y. The y's are going to equal 1, so I don't need them. X is going to equal k plus 5 divided by y. And that is our final answer. Okay. Questions? Okay, I want you to pause the video and I want you to attempt problems 3 and 5. Okay, check your answers with mine. If you did not get those and you cannot find your error, that's how you know you have a question. Okay, I do want us to look at number 7 because I want to point out something that is like a little shortcut, but it only works in this particular situation. So let's look at this. I am going to solve for r. Now on this side of the equation, I have n times r times t. Since it's all multiplication, how am I getting rid of the n? Well, I'm dividing it. How am I getting rid of the t? Dividing it. So in this case, I can divide the n and the t at the same time. And then my n cancels, makes a 1. T divided by t is 1, leaves me my r equals pv divided by nt. And this is our final answer. But we are going to make that note because this is the only time it works. Excuse me. So put your asterisk there. If you're moving all multiplication, then divide the variables at one time. Remember, it's got to be all multiplication. It's all multiplication. You can divide away your answers all at one time. Here's another situation we need to look at that is a little bit different, is number 8. On number 8, now typically I tell you whatever we're solving for, leave it alone. Cover it up, leave it alone. Move everything else. However, in this case, the v is in the denominator. We can't just leave it alone. It's got to be moved. It can't stay there. So we do have to multiply the v away. As a reminder, the multiplication parentheses go around what's already there, times v on both sides. V goes into v one time, and this leaves me m equals dv. I'm still trying to solve for v and get it alone, so now the d has to go away. So I'm going to divide by that d on both sides. D divided by d is 1, and v is going to equal m divided by d. This is the only case where you are going to actually move the variable that you're solving for, is if it is in the denominator. You must move it. You must multiply it by both sides in order to remove the v from the denominator. So keep that in mind. Okay, number 9. So let's look at that. Solve for x. Here's my x. But just like we did earlier in the week, I have the entire side is a fraction. Make it not a fraction. That's the first thing you have to do, is remove that denominator. Parentheses go around what already exists, and multiply by v on both sides. V divided by v is 1. Now I have x plus 4 equals fv. I'm still solving for the x, so now the 4 has to go away. So I'm going to subtract, because this is adding 4. The inverse is to subtract 4 from both sides. That gives me my 0, and I wind up with fv minus 4 equals x. Now, if you wrote negative 4 plus fv equals x, that is also correct. The point is that you get the negative with the number or the term it belongs to. So as long as the negative is with the 4, then you're going to be okay there. Okay, now that you've turned your page, we're going to look at the word problems. Okay, so I'm looking at number 10, the formula blah blah, where s is speed and t is time and d is distance. Solve for t. Okay, so we're going to rewrite the problem so we can work from it. So I have d equals rt, that's multiplication, okay, and we're solving for t. So the r must go away. This is multiplication. What's the inverse? Division is correct. So we're going to divide by the r. Those are going to divide into make a 1. T equals d divided by r. Now, this is not the only part to this problem, because the next part of that is actually what else we need to do. And what it says is, once solved for t, evaluate, which means give me an answer. So evaluate means you're going to be able to give me an actual number answer. Okay, so when you see evaluate, that means you're going to be able to give me a number answer. The formula for t, now, important information, here we go. Distance is 64 miles. And the other important piece of information we got to do is speed, which is 2 miles per hour. Okay, so we're just going to substitute in what we know. So for D, we're going to put 64. For R, right, speed and rate are the same thing. We're going to put a 2 equals T. And when you divide that, what do you get? That is correct. 32 equals T. Now, 32 what? Miles per hour. You know you're looking for the T, okay? Miles per hour. And you know you're looking for that, okay? So, here we go. Let's put this up here at the top now that I think about it. Where it says speed right here, put the word rate, because that is the same thing. We can go ahead and do that so that we'll know to expect that. Okay? So this is what you're doing with these problems, is you're still rearranging like we did on the front page. The only difference is now you can evaluate. Now I'm going to give you numbers, and I want you to substitute them in and get a number answer. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to get your answers for number 11 and 12, and then we'll check. Okay, this is what you should have gotten for number 11. Okay, perimeter equals 2 times the length times 2 times the width, and we're trying to find the length. So this should be what you got for your answer here. Okay, and then when you substitute it all in, this is what we get for our final answer. Questions? You can work it one of those 2 ways there. If you did not get that correct and you cannot find where you made your errors, now you know you have a question. I expect you to be asking. Okay? Always can email me or chat with me through GoGuardian. Number 12, this should be what you got for number 12. Okay? Again, if you didn't get that and you can't find where you made your error, then you know you have questions you should be asking for clarification or understanding. Okay. Now, as you turn the page, you will come up on your homework. Your homework is problems 1 through 9. Problems 1 through 9. You'll be doing that entire page for homework. If you have questions, ask.